Tips to draw like Gachiakuta. I made a video on how to draw like Gachiakuta like a while ago, and it did pretty well. But I feel like now that I've had time to adapt what I learned to my own style, I have a little bit more tips that could help and hopefully add on to some of the points from the other video. Things like some tools like brushes and pens and stuff, and just going a little bit more in depth on what to work on to not just study the style, but to improve your art as a whole.
I've been pouring some drink and some Henny up all on my soda just so I can feel a little something like. I got multiple colors that drip on my wrist, got the two-tone watching they dance with the flit like. Hey, who do it better than me? Who can do better than...
First thing, knowing the tools that an artist you're studying from uses is important, don't get me wrong. If you want your art to look exactly like whoever's art it is that you're studying, like exactly like to a T, knowing this does help, but it does not make or break your art. Taking the focus off the tools and working on the techniques will benefit you way more in the long run. When I first started studying Gachiakuta, I just used a regular mechanical pencil, the ones that you'd use for like school or whatever. They're like $1.27 at Walmart. And I still had good studies. And to be honest, it helped me notice things that I probably would have missed trying to mimic the line work. But all in all, tools isn't something you should fully neglect, but shouldn't be the main focus either. And if you're interested in what tools the artist for Gachiakuta uses, because I don't think I talked about it, at least like what they use traditionally in the last vid, I really can't remember, but if not, I'm pretty sure it's these. I could be wrong, but one of these was proven like she uses this, and then the other one is just an ink brush. After doing my copy studies and everything, I kept what felt natural from them and implemented it into my own art flow. And after doing that, I can say if you really want to get the hang of this style, or at least be somewhat close to it, please, for the love of God, shape language it's the entire style. It's pretty difficult. The Soul Eater style and the Gachiakuta style are so shape reliant. After figuring out if you want to use the exact tools, I'd hop right on this. This took me a little bit of time to merge into my own art. I'm better at it now, but it definitely took a minute. Shape language in itself though, I feel helps with all of your art. Things that I did to practice was to just draw shapes, or try to draw your OCs in like an abstract version, and then eventually upgrade to like big simple shapes, and then eventually get onto using those simple shapes that you drew from your characters to make up the poses. And then facial features, like in Gachiakuta, it's pretty much all shapes, so I practice like, I hate this word, anatomy. I know that word is like a trigger word, but for the face. Then after practicing that, you can go up to using shapes to make up your own poses and facial features. And if you get comfortable doing that, you can pretty much just start doing the fun part. Now that you know everything you have to do, what works for you, what shapes work for you, you can go up to abstracting those as much as you want to get the look you want. Okay, for eyes in general, the more you know about the head anatomy and perspective, the better. Obviously, it just took me a minute. I'm still working on it. But practicing both the anatomy and perspective will make it easier for you to implement using shapes as the eyes and make it look natural. Plus, Gachiakuta has this big and bold look for the eyes in the manga, and some minor details for inside the eye that is like, I don't know, it's like, what do they say? Icing on a cake. She uses perspective inside the iris to show depth. I'll show a close-up pic, kind of like emphasizing a hole within the eye, just to show that it's three-dimensional. And I can't remember if I said this already in the last video, but it's worth saying again. Big eyelashes. What I like to do is I like to outline whatever shape I have for the eye, and then fill out that shape, and then add hatching into it sometimes. But that's to try to mimic the look. That's what works for me. I'm not sure if that's how the artist actually does it, but that's what I like to do. I spoke on how the hair is done in the last video, but I just wanted to add that minus the sections of the hair, follow the same principles. You have a point of origin and the sections or strands that lead to that point of origin. And some characters in Gachiakuta have their hair like standing up or pulled back. They mainly just follow the hairline. So like this character I did, it would look something like this. So it's not that bad. Same normal hair rules, like when you're drawing normal hair, if you're using, I don't know what it's called, but that little dot that you draw everything from, it's just that, but using shapes. And if they don't have long hair, then it goes from the hairline. Hope that helps. My last little tip. tip. Gachiakuta is mainly drawn traditionally, I'm pretty sure, but they do use digital to add tones and effects afterwards. This is more of a fun fact than a tip, but just in case you are wondering like how certain things look like this, then it's probably done digital if you can't do it traditionally. I'm not sure which brushes are used or if used at all digitally, but if I can find something, I'll put it up here. But these are pretty much the only things that I wanted to talk about, since in that video I noticed that I missed out like a little bit more of the specifics. Wrapping up though, the last video got so much support. I appreciate y'all for real. It's my #1 video for my channel, and many people said that I actually helped them, which at the time I didn't expect for it to actually help, and I hope that's true. And I hope that this can either add or clean up some things from the last video. But good luck. That's it.
I've been pouring some drink and some Henny up all in my soda just so I can feel a little something like. I got multiple colors that drip on my wrist, got the two-tone watching they dance with the flit like. Hey, who do it better than me? Who can do better than? I don't be trusting no one, like not even my shadow, the gun on my head.